And the good news, God's love makes us bright and shining. How's that?
Yeah.
A bright and shining star. And Christmas season, what a wonderful season. For us, we love every day, but at the Christmas season, where the energy is heightened and everyone's hearts open a little bit more, it really is a joy to just participate in life. But some other good news. I and my Father are one. I and my Father are one. And to really begin to take those words to heart, each Christmas we're reminded that we are the children of God. And those of you that were here on Christmas Eve and lit that candle, we had the Christ candle lit, and you'd come and you'd light your candle, and it was symbolic of us lighting our inner light. Standing forth and claiming, this is who I am. And it's powerful to do that. It's powerful for us to stand forth and claim our identity. Because we really can't be until we know who we are. Most of you know we did a group home for our Christmas blessings, and it was more than a blessing for our church family. And I know that everyone bought the gifts, went over and above the call of duty, because those gifts were awesome that they received, and then people donated generously the food and the things that we had for the party. But Cindy and I were talking maybe that night coming home, and a lot of you have read Life and Teachings of the Masters. And it's these books on these people, scientists and archaeologists that are traveling with these masters throughout India and Tibet, and they study with the masters in the temples and things. And one time it happened a couple times, but the masters, they're like very old. They can come and go. And at certain times, Emil's mother's going to come down and visit him. And she's like 600 years old, and she lives in the higher plains, and just a beautiful, sweet, ascended master. And so they know that she's going to be visiting, and there's going to be like a feast and celebration. So the people gather in this big banquet hall, and it's really not lit because they don't have electricity. And so they're just sitting there waiting in expectation. You know, Emil's mom's going to come and bring down some family. And so they're sitting there, and all of a sudden they hear a little rustling in the ethers. The energy's going, they might hear a few bells and twinkles, and then they just appear down. And what they do is they just bring all this food, and they set the banquet tables with food for the people. And everybody's just blessed with their presence, and they get to eat food, and then they have their little celebration. And it was really neat. And we set up this party for the kids at this group home. These kids were had substance abuse problems and law problems. It's a pretty much self-contained unit. And when they found out we were going to have a party for them, they were really happy. Not too many people think about them. And so they had been expecting it, and we had all these gourmet pizzas coming and everything. And when we got there, we drove up, and we had to unload. My truck was just full of presents. I had to put my 2 seats down, and it was just packed up. It was really a great sight. And so we finally got to the right door, and there were about 4 or 5 guys there waiting, you know, these teenagers. And they were just so excited and happy and friendly, and came out, and I said, yeah, and I kept loading them up, they'd take stuff in, and just the excitement was already brewing. And it was just neat, we could all feel it. And so we had a little time, we got there a little early, and so we got to talk with them, and we kind of broke up, we were just talking, it was very informal. And then this one man who was kind of an overseer also, a lot of the kids were still up in their rooms. And he said, should we tell them to come down? I said, yeah, they can come down. I said, I hope they're hungry. I said, we've got all these good pizzas coming. You know, and he goes, oh yeah, they already had their dinner, but they saved up for now. They are ready for these pizzas and stuff. And so he went and said they could come, so they all started coming down. And we have a dog there. Katie brought her dog, one of those friendship dogs that does shaking hands and stuff. And they all like that. And then we were walking around and just talking with them. You know, seeing how they were doing and just being people. And then the pizzas come, you know, and the feast table is filled. And all we're there is to just be love and light. We have no agenda but to love these kids. And so Cindy was standing at the table. We circled up and said a blessing. And so they kind of lined up to go. And one girl was standing at the head of the table. And Cindy's going, okay, go ahead. And she said something like, can I have as much as I want? And so he says, yeah, go fill your plate up. And she just loaded up 2 or 3 sheets, pieces of pizza, and walked down through, and we had cookies and sodas and stuff like that. And it was just neat because the whole night allowed them to be who they were. And then after I got done eating, we had brought out toys and put them underneath the Christmas tree. And when they came down, that's the first place they went. You know, they're looking, they're seeing the tags, and they're seeing all their presents, and it was so cool. They were so thrilled. And so we said, okay, I've got done eating. Everybody come on over here and put your chairs around the tree. And so then Cindy and I, we take one present and call out the name and give it to the person, and then they would unwrap it by themselves, and everyone just got into it because we wanted to honor the child and we wanted to honor the gift, you know. And they were special that night for as many minutes as it took. It was just overwhelming. And so we'd give them a gift, and then all the kids, they'd just start chanting, open it up, open it up. It was just, we were just yelling it out. We were just having a blast. We're one with the kids. And so they open up all their gifts, and it worked out great. We had enough, because they had some new people, but we had enough gifts. Everybody got gifts, and it was powerful. And we were just talking with them, kind of like breaking off and just talking about life. And I was talking with this one young man, and I think he had this really neat hoodie on. And I said, you like? He goes, man, I love this. He said, I put it on my list, but I didn't think I was going to get it. It's like, wow. I said, well, now you know. Ask for what you want. You know, just be open. Ask for what you want. You might get it, you might not, but if we don't ask. And I think that what we were trying to recognize when we went to that group home was their identity. They were all seeking their identity through their life path. And maybe through their experimentation with drugs or pushing the envelope with law. They were trying to see who they were, or maybe see who they weren't. And so it was our exercise to just share our identity with them and recognize their identity as their unique expression. And so it was a really neat flow of energy with no pretense but to love.